Well, there is a warning this morning for travelers from SeaTac International Airport. Health experts say it is the location of a new measles exposure site.
Dozens of people are dead following a fiery landing in Russia. This morning, investigators are trying to find out what went wrong.
Graffiti is sprinkled throughout the city, but not everyone loves the work. We are telling you what to do if you are seeing more of this in your neighborhood. "5 a.m. on our Monday morning. Welcome to KREM 2 Morning News. I'm Jen York.
And I'm Taylor Vito. Brittany Bailey is off this morning. Starting off with some good news. You probably heard it. This weekend, first time we were in the 70s.
Oh, I felt it for sure.
Yeah,
it was a beautiful weekend across the inland Northwest. And taking a look at Coeur d'Alene this morning, the lake just looks serene.
Oh, yeah.
We love that.
Yeah.
Evan Arani is also joining us in the Weather Center this morning. Evan, what do we have in store for the start of the work week?
You really can't ask for a better week ahead as we continue with these beautiful, calm, dry, and warm conditions around the Northwest. Take a look at what we've got over the next 12 hours. As you guys mentioned, we saw 72 yesterday afternoon, the first day of 2019 that we made it to the 70s. Today, we are expected to make it to just about the same range, if not just slightly warmer. And you can notice along the way, good amount of sun, maybe a few clouds lingering here and there, and clouds beginning to thicken toward the evening hours, but really nothing to worry about, not producing any rain at all. Now, the sun is pretty much all the way up now around the Northwest, or at least about to be there. High pressure is really the dominant weather feature over us, and it has been over the last few days. That ridge of high pressure continues to build and keep us dry, though there is the small threat for a couple mountain showers going into tomorrow and Wednesday. But really, aside from that, you can see those conditions around us continue to stay dry. A couple showers clearing out of western Montana. The good news is that not only have we already made it to the 70s, but 80s are possible by this weekend. We already see by this afternoon a good chance of central Washington making it to the 80s. So for us in eastern Washington and Spokane and Coeur d'Alene, we're going to hold off a bit on that, but by the time we get to your upcoming Saturday and Sunday, there is a good chance of that being possible. Keep in mind the seasonal average would be 64 degrees. So not only are we above average for this week, but by this upcoming weekend, we are going to be well above average. The clock is hitting 5:02 now. Cody Crawford is going to get us a check of traffic.
Good morning. There's some construction happening in Spokane this week. The northbound curb lane of Freya Street will be closed from Main to Olive Street. Crews are doing some utility work in the area, so if you're headed down this direction this morning on your commute, you may want to give yourself a few extra minutes to get around. That is the only update I have, but I'll be back in 30 minutes with more. Taylor and Jen, back to you.
Cody, thank you. 5:02 now. Well, there is a warning for travelers this morning on the west side of the state. King County Health Department leaders say a traveler who spent time in Seattle tested positive for measles. They say the man traveled through the SeaTac International Airport. Authorities say the 40-year-old man from British Columbia was in Seattle between April 21st and the 28th. He also visited a number of shops and popular Seattle tourist locations.
Authorities are issuing a warning for people who have not been vaccinated. Health experts are encouraging people to go to the doctor if they believe they have been exposed. Now, this warning comes just a week after a measles outbreak in southwest Washington expired.
There has also been a surge of measles cases nationwide this year. The Centers for Disease Control confirmed at least 704 cases of measles in 22 states. That is the country's highest number of measles cases in 25 years. CDC leaders say the measles can be prevented with the vaccine.
Meanwhile, a cruise ship quarantined in the Caribbean because of measles is back in its home port. But the only people who can prove they've been vaccinated were allowed to get off the ship. It's currently owned by the Church of Scientology, and it's docked at the island of Curacao with about 300 passengers on board. Those who can't prove they've been vaccinated aren't being allowed to leave. A woman on the ship's crew was diagnosed with measles. And investigators are trying to determine what caused a Russian plane to catch fire. That plane made an emergency landing at an airport just outside of Moscow yesterday.
Russian investigators say 41 of the 78 people on board died. Those numbers included 2 children. Cell phone video shows flames coming from the side of the plane. Other video shows passengers using the emergency exit slides to escape from the aircraft.
About 30 minutes after takeoff, the plane was forced to turn back for unspecified technical reasons. Authorities say the plane bounced when it landed, causing fuel from the tanks to spill. The plane's manufacturers said the aircraft received maintenance in April, and that the pilot had more than 1,000 hours of experience flying the plane.
The airplane belongs to the Russian carrier Aeroflot. A criminal investigation has been opened in Moscow, which is standard protocol. Crews hope to pull a crashed Boeing 737 from a river today in Florida. National Traffic Safety Board investigators are also hoping to recover the cockpit recorder. The crash happened Friday when the plane skidded off the runway and into the water. Thunderstorms halted the investigation and cleanup this weekend. The plane was carrying military service members, private contractors, and a 7-person crew from Guantanamo Bay, Cuba.
It was total chaos. It was total mayhem. I heard children crying. I heard children crying. I heard people screaming. We felt like a sudden thump, and then it was just the loudest collision, crashing sound I've ever been a part of. It almost sounded like an explosion.
All 142 people on board survived. 3 pets died, though. President Trump has reversed his course. He's now insisting special counsel Robert Mueller should not testify before Congress.
On Friday, the president said he would leave Mueller's testimony on the Russia investigation up to the Attorney General. But yesterday, the president tweeted, Bob Mueller should not testify. No redos for the Dems. Earlier in the day, both Democratic and Republican leaders were eager to hear from the author of the more than 400-page investigation.
He is the fact witness here. He was the one that conducted the investigation over 2 years, spending well over $30 million, had all the assets in place with a grand jury and everything. He's the one that is the central figure here.
A tentative date of May 15th has been proposed for Mueller to testify, though nothing has been accepted yet. Meanwhile, House Judiciary Committee Chairman Jerry Nadler has given William Barr until today to deliver an unredacted version of the report. Nadler says if the full report is not delivered, he'll move forward with an effort to hold Barr in contempt of Congress. Well, leaders at an Amazon distribution center near Boise have resolved claims of unsafe working conditions. The Idaho Statesman reports the Occupational Safety and Health Administration cited the company for 4 unsafe workplace conditions in March. Leaders say Amazon failed to log a non-life-threatening injury to an employee's hand. Other violations included a tripping hazard, a hole near a door, and an unmounted outlet box. The company faces up to $6,500 in fines.
5:07 now on our Monday morning. Well, as the weather gets warmer, some of you at home were saying that you are seeing an increase in graffiti.
Yeah, that's right. KREM 2's Kiara Alfallen is live this morning with more on what you should do if your neighborhood is being targeted. Hey, Kiara.
Yes, good morning. Well, graffiti is pretty much present all year round, but we're starting to hear from more and more of you who are saying that you are seeing more and more of this out and about. Now, according to a City of Spokane spokesperson, they aren't necessarily seeing an increase in graffiti, but according to city code, it is an offense against the peace and order as always. City of Spokane crews are doing what they can to remove much of this graffiti, but it's hard to get to every tag. Also, when graffiti appears on businesses, it is up to owners to get rid of it. Although the city is not seeing a pattern, many walking in downtown Spokane say it doesn't seem that way.
I do really enjoy the art downtown. I would love to see more of the art, but I don't appreciate the curse words and all the profanity on the walls. So if there was a designated area where they could do their art and so everybody can enjoy it, I think that would be great.
I think it's really a sad situation. I think it's a waste of money that the city could be using to do a whole lot better things rather than having to clean up graffiti off the walls. But I also believe it's really necessary to do because otherwise it's just going to get worse and worse.
A viewer reached out to us with these photos from his neighborhood saying taggers even got his car. Luckily, a repair shop up the road showed him some sympathy and decided to remove that tag for him. Now, City of Spokane staff suggests doing the following to prevent graffiti tagging on your property. This includes creating a plant or fence barrier to keep taggers away, keeping your property well lit, or installing motion sensor lighting, installing surveillance cameras, or forming community groups within your neighborhood to keep an eye out. Now, you can also report any graffiti by calling 311. The City of Spokane website also has a form that you can fill out on their website. We will provide a link to that on our website at krem.com coming up very soon. I'll send it back to you.
Okay, Kira, thank you for that. All right, switching gears, something kind of cool here. It's day 2 of National Pet Week, and this week the Spokane Public Library has a range of events that you can take part in.
Yeah, so coming up on Friday, the library downtown will be hosting a cat cafe. That's where you'll find me.
I was going to say you like that.
Cats will be available for adoption from scraps. You can play with the furry animals while also enjoying a cup of coffee. And that will be happening from 3 to 6 o'clock again on Friday.
Hey, sign us up. Other events you can enjoy this week include making do-it-yourself cat toys, movies, and story readings. The library is also accepting pet food donations in exchange for fine forgiveness.
Hey, that's a good way to, knock off some of those late charges,
yeah,
right?
I can imagine.
5:10 now. Well, looking ahead to Wednesday this week, we are kicking off the KREM 2 diaper drive. Each $10 bag provides 1 week's worth of diapers. The diapers will be distributed to families in need through the Vanessa B. Hand Crisis Nursery. Each year, supporters help us provide nearly 250,000 of diapers to keep babies warm, safe, and dry.
Now, the bags will go on sale starting this Wednesday at all area Rose Hours, and we want to mention that, we're still looking for volunteers to work at one of those Rose Hours. Volunteers will be asked to hand out flyers and encourage people to donate. If you would like to volunteer, we have a sign-up sheet as well as more information on our website. That's KREM.com. Certainly a great cause. A lot of folks who help out with that. If you'd like to help out, please join. We'd like to have you.
Absolutely. We can beat our goal maybe this year, see if we can sell a little more diapers than we did last year.
Yeah.
I know each year we seem to sell more and more, helping, again, more families in need right here in our community.
Yeah, cool. It is 5:11 right now. Coming up, 20 horses competed in this year's Kentucky Derby, and the horse that was crowned winner wasn't actually the one that crossed the finish line first. We'll explain.
And after multiple delays, the Dragon cargo ship finally reached the International Space Station this morning. We'll take a look at the docking.
And yesterday was the first day Spokane made it to the 70s, but we could already be saying hello to 80s by this upcoming weekend. A big warm-up on the way that we're talking about next.